Hey y'all, it's Amanda. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're gonna do a reading vlog. Alright y'all, so I'm in line to get lunch. Got an iced coffee, honey. We at Zaxby's. And I'm going to do a reading vlog for what you can tell from the thumbnail is The Women by Kristin Hannah. Yes, I just picked this up. I listened to the first hour of the audiobook. I'm on chapter 5 or 6. It is so good so far. I don't even know what to say other than I need to read everything by Kristin Hannah. I've read one other Kristin Hannah book before. It's called The Great Alone. I really enjoyed it several years ago. This is a secular historical fiction author, and I just absolutely love her writing. I think I'm just so captivated by this story so far. 1966, they're in Vietnam. Sorry, I had to order, I got distracted. I really do feel like, just like it says in the back here, she is one of the greatest storytellers of our time. Yes, have these women who are going through the Vietnam War as nurses, and our main character in this is Frances McGrath, and they call her Frankie. So I don't really know what to say. I don't want to say too much, but I still want to do a vlog of like the emotions reading this, so this will be spoiler free, but I just want to really document my thoughts and everything and just take you along this emotional journey with this book. It's been a while since I've read a very popular book, which this was the first book when I walked into Books of Man, honey. Guess what? Right there on the shelf. Not shelf. It wasn't even on a shelf. It was on a table, honey. So 40% off. I got this. I literally gave her a $20 bill. That was it. $20 later. Okay. And I know I told you I ain't buy books, but like, I had to have this in my possession. So I want to try to like take out some quotes and things in this. I really want to pay attention, not just listen to the audiobook. The audiobook I got from the library. I've been on hold forever. Well, for maybe over a month now. And it finally came in. And just the narrator's wonderful. But our main character, she signs up to be a nurse in the army, and she goes off to Vietnam. And I can't say too much because I just feel like this is when you go in blind. I do want to say that there is some graphic war detail, of course, as expected from Vietnam War, for those about content, but it's just such an impactful story already. She wants to make her parents proud, and her parents, you know, her dad's never really served in the war. He wanted to, but he wasn't able to. And so it's always been something that was very important to him. And, you know, her brother goes off to Vietnam in the war as well. And so she ends up signing up to go in the war as well, right along with her brother. And everything just goes on from there. Like everything just that she's going through right now, she's almost, it's really traumatic of what she's enduring and just really trying to figure out everything that she needs to do as a nurse there. And these ladies are just taking her right along the side, and right alongside them, I should say. And this lady Ethel, I just love her. She is just so understanding. She's like, look honey, we've all been here, we've all had to go through this the first time. And you know, she's talking to her about, why are you here, what's your reason for being here? And so yeah, so far I'm thrilled with this. I can't wait to finish it. I can't wait to get more updates, but it won't be probably too long of a vlog, but I just really want to document my thoughts because I'm gonna be like, all weekend, this is it, this is the priority. So yeah, it's been a while, like I said, since I've read anything that's like a really hyped book, so I hope this will live up to the expectations. So many people are reading this right now, but I know Kristin Hannah's not gonna let me down. There has been a little bit of language as well, but as you can expect in a wartime book, that's gonna be in here, right? So it doesn't bother me. That's fine, you know, it's expected. It's real life. It's what happened in those moments, and it makes sense in the story. So anyway, I know this is going to just really be so emotional, so I'm just taking y'all along the ride here. So yeah, I'll update you guys when I have some more updates of things, but I was literally almost tearing up just in this chapter 5. Like I love our main character. She is relatable. She wants to make her parents proud, and I just can't wait to see the journey that she takes. So all right y'all, so it is time for an update on The Women. I am 40% in on this so far, 43 somewhere in there, 43% in, and so many thoughts. Wow, this is, I don't know, Kristin Hannah just really is skillfully weaving a heartbreaking but beautiful story. Okay, this is what historical fiction really is for me. Like, she's not afraid to just, you know, break your heart with this. Be real, raw, emotional, truthful, nitty gritty, all that stuff in here. You know, this is true, the real portrayal of war, from all the good, bad, and the ugly. I mean, we have real raw emotions in this, and relationships, strong female friendships. You know, I love Frankie, Barb, and Ethel. They are just wonderful. Like, those are some of my favorite scenes in this, is the women that she works with and just the closeness that they have together as friends, because they are truly experiencing this all together in the war. And so, you know, there's just so much hardship that has been endured in this already, with what they, you know, these long hours that they're working. These women, they are just truly trying to save lives, and not everybody can be saved. There are just some of the most gruesome details, we'll say, of men coming in from war, and, you know, limbs are gone. All these different things are explained in this. So I want to be very clear about the level of detail in this. It's very bloody and gruesome as far as like the war details and everything like that. So if that's not something that you are able to read, just want to mention, you know, just be aware of that in this book, if that's something that is a trigger for you in any way. But I just think that it is a very important read. It's definitely shedding light on the Vietnam War. There's so much I didn't know about the Vietnam War that is being explained in this. And yeah, I am highly enjoying my time with this, and just fully immersed in what's going on with Frankie's story here. The only thing I haven't really loved in this is the relationship, the love interest stuff kind of going on here. You know, you kind of got some, I don't know the best way to explain it, but, you know, there's like infidelity type stuff that is teetered with here. You know, this main guy that she's working with here in the beginning of this is Jamie, and, you know, I'm not going to say any spoilers, but, you know, of course, I will say that he is married, and he is very, like, attracted to her, and, like, you know, of course, what they're going through in Vietnam is very traumatic, so they're trying to find comfort in one another, but she literally is just like, look, I know you're married, I can't be with you. Like, she's very clear about that, and I do appreciate that with her. You know, while she still has these feelings for him, she doesn't act on them. She's like, I can't with you. You know, like, that is very good to see, because I thought, if this is going to go this way, where he got a kid at home, he married, I can't, you know, like, I don't like that in books. And so I appreciate how Kristin Hannah handled that, you know, just like, look, that's probably what happened in war in Vietnam. I'm sure that it happened. And so to see our main character really stand up and say, look, no, I cannot be with you while you have a wife, you know, even though I care for you, because they have, you know, he's a surgeon, she is the nurse, and they're working together, and they've experienced some really traumatic things together. She says, look, I can't. And so then there's, like, you know, some other relationship things that are starting to happen, whatnot, with someone else. And so I don't know how to explain. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not going to spoil anything. But, you know, it's just some of the relationship stuff that's going on, I'm not a big fan of. I'll just say that. And so, yeah, plus there is some language going on here, but I'm not taking off from that, like I said, because that is completely, like, it's for the time, honey. I am not sitting here taking off for no language, because the stuff they're going through, it's intense, and it makes sense, right? I just feel like there's no real words for me to adequately describe my thoughts so far. You know, I'm not well educated in the Vietnam War, and it's sad to admit that, but, you know, I want to learn more about it. And, you know, I think all I know and have seen about it is in the movie Forrest Gump. And, you know, this is really teaching me a lot. I will say that. As far as like sexual content, for those that are wondering, there has been one, like, I guess it's fairly open door sex scene in this, but it's not like detailed really. There's a few details that's like a bit whatever, and you can skim right over it, of a sex scene. So I'll just mention that real quick. But other than that, it's just overall, this has been a very informative and powerful read. And so I'm so glad that I picked this up. I'm going to be continuing on. Cannot wait to see what happens. I think that this is so important, just in general, for the story to be told, giving us this glimpse into the terror of serving in Vietnam and what really happened. Plus, you're seeing all of the political stuff that was like going on in the United States as well, like it's described from the government side of things. What I've seen, it sounds like that Kristin Hannah did a lot of great research. People have said this is very historically accurate to the time. I cannot personally attest to that, but seeing what everyone else is saying, they have definitely confirmed that for me. So I'm so glad that I'm learning. That's one thing I like about historical fiction, is I learn so much, right? You're really learning what happened in this time period. And this is definitely one that's going to stick with me for a while. So yeah, I will give you some more updates later to kind of wrap up my thoughts. Right now it's kind of sitting at like a 4-star for me, 4.5 for, you know, just because of like the relationship stuff that's in here, thrown in here. I don't really care so much for that, but overall I'm still really enjoying the story, and like, where's it going to go from here? So right now Frankie is continuing on as a combat nurse, and she is really trying to just be the best person she can be, and she really cares about these people, and she wants to save as many lives as possible, and she's not going to give up, and I love that about her. So yeah, I will give you more updates when I can. Update on the women. So I am on part 2. I just finished part 1 and chapter 23. And what Frankie has, she just can't catch a break. What Frankie has went through, wow. I am just, wow. This woman, you know, and like, I have no words. Honestly, I guess I remember from the movie Forrest Gump how veterans were treated when they left Vietnam and they came back to the States, and how horrible they were treated. You know, they would spit on them and they would call them all kinds of different names. I'm not gonna say here on the video, but if you know what I'm talking about, you know. And it's sad. And like, Frankie's parents didn't even, like, I can't say, but like, they were embarrassed of her. They're ashamed of her. Like, her dad's all about this heroes. He has a whole heroes wall, and like, he didn't even go to war himself. And he's embarrassed of his own daughter for what she did. And it's just, this poor woman has went through so much, and it's like 10:30 at night, so I just had to make this update. Like, I feel for her. There's just tragedy left and right for her. But you know what? Her best friends, Barb and Ethel, coming in and helping her. Like, thank God for girlfriends in this crazy, chaotic, divided world that was run by men. You could count on the women. And like, there's so many people that there's no women in Vietnam. And she's like, there was, like, she would have to say, like, to prove that she was. And she went to the VA and the guy dismissed her, like, because she was having PTSD. And it's just all of these things. And that she's experiencing post-war. You know, it's like, how do you live after, you know, after being in such a high intensity, adrenaline rush, combat zone? You know, she's trying to get a job at the hospital, and it's so like basic for her that like she's having to prove herself there, but then she's so skilled almost to like surgical level that they don't even really want her there. Like, they don't agree with her on things, and it's just, it is so intense for her to try to like learn how to live life again after being in war, and it's so eye-opening. So I just cannot wait to see what happens next for her. I am just rooting for her in this. This, part 2, she truly did lose herself. She's lost herself. She doesn't know what to do. Like, she doesn't get along with her parents. Her mother only cares about the country club and their image. And it's like, be proud of what your daughter did, but they weren't, you know, they're not. And so I just really hope that by the end of this, her parents are proud of her. They see what she did, you know, and we have some happiness for her, and she finds her place, you know. That's what I'm hoping for this. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to continue on right now. I may go to bed, but yeah, I'm invested. I literally just stopped the audiobook to like sit here and physically read. Like, that's how, you know, like when you're listening to audiobooks, like I gotta go to the book. I gotta go. Like, I need to read faster for my eyeballs. Like, I can't, I just can't. And just what she's been through, it is so sad. And I want some happiness for our girls. So yeah, I will update y'all later. Okay, so update y'all. Update, we like 80%. What? Y'all, this book has taken a toll. We have taken a toll, a change, significant developments. The phone's moving, my bad. All the things that are happening right now. This poor girl cannot catch a break to save her life. I'm just saying. Like, Frankie, Francis, I mean, girl, I feel so bad for her. Like, bless her heart. My Southern enemy was just saying, bless her heart. But you know, I gotta say, I am not a fan of these developments. Not that much. Like, her relationship life, her love life sucks. That's all I can say. That's the best way I know how to say it. It is bad. Like, bless her heart. And it's just not good. And when she does, she's just like, she's so stuck on somebody. And it's just, and then like what's happening in development, if you know, like the big reveal with like what she thought was, I can't say, but what she thought was, I can't even say. But like the reveal in this, I'm like, look here, I knew there was a reason I was not caring for these relationships. I knew. So if you know what happens, you know. But anyway, I feel for my girl. I feel for the girl. I just want her to be happy. And she, like, this is a 60s, 70s time frame. I get why she's like, she's had so much trauma she's experienced, and she's just like needing someone to bond with. And I know why. Like, what just happened for her with him was so sad. And I'm unhinged. I need the happiness for Frankie. Like, last 20% of the book's coming. We'll see what happens. But it's been so, like, the stuff about war, you guys, like the stuff about the Vietnam War and like the aftermath and like them trying to end the Vietnam War and just like veterans against the war and things like what happened. It's just so informative and just like immersive. That's my favorite parts about this book is what she's going through and as trying to become a nurse in society again, to like after being in the war, trying to live again, you know, like what is she doesn't even know how to begin, and all this stuff with her parents has been back and forth, you know, that's been some really great developments. But her relationship, the romances she's been having have been so bad. The poor girl, I mean, I need the petty pen for one of these men. That's all I'm gonna say. The petty pen for one of these men. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay. So anyway, if you know, you know. I'm just saying. It's a no. Like, but I still really enjoyed this book. I'm probably gonna give it 4 stars, you guys. Like, I think it's written very well, but there's some things I just don't really love 100%. This sun coming in, honey, it's big time. There's some things I just don't love 100% with the whole relationship stuff, and like I can't really say too much without spoiling, so I'm not gonna say, but it's overall been a really great story. It's been immersive. I've already said that word, but it's just been like, you are just to the ground, like wanting to read this book. Like, I can't even really listen to this anymore. I'm having to read it physically because there's just been so many developments and things popping off left and right, and her just trying to live life and, you know, restoration and healing in certain relationships, like with family and things, trying to work through that, and, you know, just, you know, finding a job that fits for her and her combat level of what she was like in as a combat nurse, like her expertise, I should say, as a combat nurse. You know, it's just, and like the PTSD that she's going through is so hard. Like these dreams, and, you know, the 4th of July being a really hard time because of all the fireworks and the loud noises. And for her, it's like, there's just all these things that you're seeing that you just don't think about, you know, as someone who has never experienced war. So it's very good in that regard. Like, you're just, it's an eye-opening experience. I think this type of book is meant for you to just be, again, fully immersed and to have the empathy and the understanding of what happened in this time. And I definitely feel that. So yeah, so while there's some things I'm not crazy about, I absolutely have enjoyed this book so far. I'm ready for the ending. I need to know what happens. So I might try to finish it tonight. We'll see where I get to. Life has been so busy. Like, I told y'all my April was going to be busy. It is already. Like, it is. It really is. And so, you know, I'm just doing what I can as far as reading. The vlogs help me because I am able to kind of show y'all day in the life stuff and give you updates here and there as I can. I know this has been mostly me just updating you know, my reading and things like that, but y'all are fine as far as what I can do on the channel. So I'm just excited that this is kind of where we're at right now and doing these vlogs, and they're easy to update like on the way home. This didn't take any extra effort for me to do an update because it's just on my way home, right? All that good stuff. So anyway, thank you for being patient this month in whatever I put out this month for you guys. There's I am working on you're probably gonna see this on Saturday. So I already talked about, you know, I'm working on the graphic novel manga vlog. Hopefully you can see that next week. Sometime the Southern Charm Readathon stuff will come out next week on April 11th, and the announcement. And then, you know, of course, I'll do some recommendations for that this month. And then I'm working on a vlog soon for Love in Tandem by Becca Kinzer. So I think that's the next book I'm going to start, actually, after this is Love in Tandem, because I need to read that for review. But that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I'll update you guys as soon as I finish this book and my final thoughts. But I don't know how to say, like, if you are someone who doesn't really like the sex scenes, there was another sex scene, I'll say, but it really wasn't like, I didn't love it, but like, it didn't explain the act of them having sex, I will say that. But it had like stuff before they did, you know, hands in places. I'm like, let's go on, dude. But like, that happened, and then she is kind of like, I'm not gonna say what, I'm not even gonna say, but I'm not gonna spoil anything, but there was a scene like that. So probably 2 scenes that went a little bit above what I'm comfortable with, but like, it was very short, very brief, and I do think this book is worth the read. You know what I'm saying? Even though I don't love those scenes, I don't prefer those in books at all, I still think that what this is in this book is worth it, right? So I don't know if I make any sense, but it's hard. Like, you know, reading secular books, you just have to remember that those things, be aware those things could show up. But Kristin Hannah is not someone to write smut. She's not writing smut. That's not really what this is. Like, that was more, the way these things are written are more like, I know I'm on a tangent here, but they're more like real life, like what's happening between the characters, but then like it's like almost fade to black with a few extra details of things. It's like, okay, I didn't need to read that section, but it's like 3 sentences. Let's go. Moving on, right? It's not going to bother me as much. I don't like it, but it's fine. Let's move on and keep on with the meat and potatoes of the story at Vietnam, right? That's kind of what I'm saying. So, yeah. That's why I know how to explain it. But I only have like this much left now. So, you know, we're just trucking along, y'all. I'm home. I'm going to go in here and see what we're going to eat for dinner. I'll update you guys as soon as I'm done. And, yeah, I cannot wait to finish it. So, yeah. Okay. I'm here. We on chapter 31. And the big reveal that's come up with is the decision my girl has made. I am not happy. Oh my gosh, you guys, like, talk about this being a journey. Like, this whole relationship mess, Frankie, stop it, girl. Girl, it's a no for me. I can't. Y'all, like, what is happening? I'm on page 410. Our girl here is just broken. And this guy, if you know, you know. She needs help. That's what this is. Like, you really are seeing this girl go through all of these emotions. It's post-war. Like I said, she really needs help. She needs therapy. That's it. She needs therapy so bad. She needs so much help for what she's been through. She doesn't know what to do. She's turning to all the wrong things. And, you know me, I say she needs the Lord, but these secular books, they don't do that. So, but she also needs therapy as well. This is just, sorry for quality being bad, but I got to give y'all real reactions. Like, I am shocked. Just like, of everything she's been through. Again, I need happiness for her. If I don't get happiness for her in some way, your girl's not gonna be happy. I'm like, I need Frankie to be happy. Oh my goodness, y'all. Okay, update. We back. So, the end of chapter 33. I am glad that we're starting to see the start of some healing. Thank God. Because She needs happiness. She needs to talk through these things. And it talks about how PTSD was actually just kind of like a controversial subject in the 70s. Like, it was just starting to be discussed and hadn't been added to the medical manual yet. And so that's what she has been going through, and all this trauma, you know, and just the response, the trauma response to this. She went to the VA for help. They brushed her off. She knew she needed to talk about these things, but no one would help her. And I'm so glad to see what's about to go down. Like, I think that we're finally at a point. So again, I'm trying really hard not to give any spoilers or anything, but yeah, this is good. Y'all. Oh my gosh. The end of this. Wow. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Oh my gosh, y'all. Okay, I have been trying to figure out how to get this clip where I don't look crazy. It's like 9:30 at night, and I just finished The Women, like I was saying, and y'all seen some tears. Y'all seen my emotions and just me processing through this book. And I have to say, it is still a solid 4-star. While there are some things with like the relationship that I did not like in the direction that was taken, our girl still went through so much. Like, when you really consider it as a whole, I don't agree with the decisions made, some things, but it really shows like how she went from just being so broken in war to recovery. And I appreciate that more than anything in this. I definitely appreciate seeing where she went with things, like realizing what she needed, the therapies, and just trying to recover. That's all I can say from her PTSD, trying to get help. And just Kristin Hannah really showcased this light, shed this light, I'll say. I shouldn't say showcase. You know what I'm saying. She shed a light on the women of war, the women of Vietnam, and that were too often forgotten. And even says in her author's note that so many women their stories were forgotten, that they were not written down. And it's sad to think about that. But she says, talking to these remarkable women, listening to their stories, and reading their first-hand accounts on both being in Vietnam during the war and their treatment upon coming home to the United States has been a revelation. Many of these women keenly remembered being told often that there were no women in Vietnam. I am honored to tell this story. And that is so true. Like, throughout this book, you learn just how many times was she told, there were no women in Vietnam. You don't belong here. Yes, she did. Like, there were, you know? And it was just, yeah, it says, according to the Vietnam Women's Memorial Foundation statement, 10,000 American military women were stationed in Vietnam during the war. Like, wow. Just so impactful and important read. As far as recommending it, I do need to be clear about content, because here on my channel, I always make sure to let you know what's in this book. And so, thinking right off, I may miss some things. So please look up, if it's important to you, please look up like official trigger warnings. I'll try to find a list of them and put them in the description if I missed anything, just for clarity. But, you know, of course, in this, we have got significant war battle scenes and limbs lost, surgical scenes of war and battle and combat, just all those things. And so there's lots of blood and just descriptions of surgeries and trying to save lives in the war, of what you would expect from a war story. Also, of course, language in this, they're like wartime language, of course, and there is the Lord's name in vain a few times, and the F word a couple times maybe, I think. I can't even remember if there was the F word. I think there was. Yeah, I think there was. And then S word, you know, all those different words there, you know, but it wasn't like over the top as far as language. They just was sprinkled throughout as like wartime language in those situations. And then there is drug use in this. Of course, it's the 60s and 70s. There is alcoholism shown, and of course, PTSD. Anything that's like really traumatic from war is in this. You know, we have miscarriage shown in this. There is a couple sex scenes, and they're, like I said, I tried to let y'all kind of know my thoughts about the sex scenes. I think they're easily skippable. I don't particularly care for them in the book. I don't need them. You know, like they could have just got rid of that. It is definitely more than I usually like to read, but it doesn't take away from my overall enjoyment of the story that much. So that's just my personal opinion. You take it for what it is. You know, I generally read clean books, but when you read a war book, like a secular war story, I am going to try to branch out and read a little bit more of secular books again, and try to like see and test the waters of what I'm enjoying, but not necessarily like romance stuff. Like I ain't doing that, but y'all know your girl's not here for this. But like when a historical fiction story is told, it's just a little different. If it's just like one or two scenes, you could easily skip over. And in this, it was not detailed very much. I mean, it had like the before they were going to do this stuff in there, if that makes sense. So I don't really know what I'm saying, but I just want to be clear about the content as much as I can for those that want to know about it. I have seen some of my friends have read this, and the way they say it is like, well, there was a couple scenes that just went over more than I personally like to read about that I didn't care for. There you go. But I'm trying to remember anything else's content in this, honestly. Like I said, I'll just try to write some stuff down below in the description for you guys, for those that it's important to. But if you like a war story, and one that's really going to have this character go through so much, you know, with her family and friends, and good female friendships is in this book. So if you like that, her female friendships were the best. Definitely a good female friendship story, because Barb and Ethel, they did not like just forget her. They stayed true with her throughout the entire story, and I really appreciate that. And but if you like that, and if you like just really in-depth characters, this is a good one. Again, the romance stuff took away from me in general, because there is, oh yeah, content. There is infidelity, cheating, that kind of stuff in here. I don't care for those things, those parts. But again, it does add a little bit to it, but I could have done without it personally. But I get it. It's part of the plot. It's part of the story. Her going through all of these different things. And it's just part of who Frankie is and what she went through, and part of her story. And so it's fine. It is what it is. But it's not a perfect 5-star read because of those things, but I still really enjoyed it. So I do recommend, if you are someone who likes, it's like, I recommend if. It's like an if. If you're someone who is looking for a good wartime story, especially about Vietnam, because there's not a lot of stories that I know of. If you know of any more, let me know down below in the comments that you think I might like. But I don't really see a lot of Vietnam War stories told in books. You know, everything is World War I, World War II, that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, let me know if you have read this, if you plan to pick this up. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I could say. This has been quite the journey. I'm glad I read it. It's definitely like an honorable mention. I don't really know. I feel like it is an honorable mention for a favorite because of the experience reading this, but it's not quite up there, you know. But I don't even really want to give it 4.5 just because that stuff like was bugging me so bad about this romance that was in here. It's a whole star off. But in general, I just still really recommend this for anybody looking for a good war story with good depth and layers of characters, and just showing it's a coming of age story, I guess we could say. It really is, because, you know, she is like a young girl, like going through her whole life through this war and trying to recover from everything after the war. And we lead, like, this goes as far as the timeline. We are led up to the 80s when the memorial is created. From 1966 through it ends in the 1980s. And so, you know, this really is a coming of age story for Frankie and her life. And, you know, starting anew, and I just really appreciate it more than anything. So yeah, I recommend this. If it sounds like it's something that's going to be up your alley and you like a good historical fiction, read it. Just be aware of content, like I said. So discretion advised to anybody who's going to read this, just from those things. But I'm so glad I read it. And let me know if you think this will be one that you might want to pick up. I hope that you, if you're still watching, hope you enjoyed this vlog. Again, I tried to be spoiler free as possible. So, you know, because I personally, when I watch a vlog, I don't want to be spoiled on stuff. So I really try to make sure that anybody could watch this and see what they think about this. So this is like in full in-depth, over 30 minutes vlog on the women. And I'm so glad that I did this because what a fun reading experience. I'm so glad I bought this too, because I got nervous there for a minute, but I'm glad I bought it because I definitely want it to be one on my shelf. I have a lot of other Kristin Hannah books. How about that? That's a good question. If you've read other Kristin Hannah books, let me know some of your favorites. I have read The Great Alone. Really enjoyed it. I have got Firefly Lane, True Colors, Fly Away, The Nightingale. Let's see. Winter Garden. I may have some more. I'm just looking at my shelf. Those are the ones I own. Let me know, you know, some of your favorites. I know The Nightingale is one that's a beloved. If you would like to send me vlog any others by her, let me know. All the good stuff. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Let's chat below. As always in the comments. I'm sorry this quality. I'm like, no makeup Amanda here, but I'm here. Because all the tears. This is real life. Like me just trying to show y'all the real-time stuff, you know, like what happened, the emotions, everything. So I'm still gonna sit with this a little bit. I don't know how my feelings will change any, but that's like the immediate reaction. So you know, we'll kind of talk more at the end of month wrap up, mid-month wrap up, whatever I end up doing. Probably end of month, honestly, because I don't know that I'm gonna read as much as I want to. As I'm able to, because I'm so busy. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this vlog. I hope that you enjoyed it. Let's chat below in the comments as always. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all at my next video. Bye, y'all.